This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, the U.S. Citizenship Act is going into effect, and Joe Biden is inviting more illegal immigration to the United States. Can't say he hasn't been warned. A Tennessee GOP joins a letter to Biden warning an immigration agenda will create a new border crisis. Do you think Joe Biden is listening? Probably not. A House Republican lawmaker from Tennessee joins a letter accusing President Joe Biden of creating a new crisis at the border with his far-left immigration agenda. Lots of people have been warning Joe Biden, so it's not like he doesn't know what's going on. He's doing this because he's pandering to the far left in their immigration agenda. Not only that, if you want to be a naturalized citizen, he's actually reducing the standards to the standards of 2008. Trump increased the standards to be a naturalized citizen. He had the standards where you would have to know how to speak English, number one. So it's not like Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing. We got that and a lot more illegal immigration news to get into. Check this out.
The U.S. is on track to have more than 1 million illegal migrants arrive at the southern border this year, expecting to be allowed entry into the United States. According to Customs and Border Protection, nearly 80,000 migrants tried to cross the U.S.-Mexico border last month, which is more than double the number of the migrants that arrived in the same month last year. Juliet KM, who is a former senior official for DHS in the Obama administration, wrote an article in January saying that with these types of numbers that CBP is already seeing, the number of migrant encounters for 2021 will indeed pass the 1 million mark. KM indicated that she is concerned about the sheer number of migrants flooding the southern border because she fears that American voters who may be concerned about lack of employment opportunities during the COVID-19 shutdowns may step in to stop President Joe Biden and his reversal of Trump administration policies on immigration and border security. President Biden released his immigration bill last week that would allow the more than 11 million illegal migrants currently in the country to obtain immediate green cards and would provide for a fast-track process to become legal citizens. The bill is expected to reach the Senate this week. However, Biden will need 10 Republicans for the bill to pass, which may be difficult since the GOP feels that the immigration overhaul will spark more illegal immigration at a time when unemployment is high in the United States.
Be a U.S. citizen, the Biden administration is rolling back the naturalization CIVICS test to an earlier version. That move comes after the Trump administration made the test more difficult in December. The new version has more questions and requires more correct answers to achieve a passing grade. It is seen as aligned with Trump's stance on immigration. Starting next month, the exam will revert back to the 2008 version.
Welcome back. 11 minutes after the hour now. Border cities bracing for a possible influx of asylum seekers thanks to new Biden administration policies.
Brownsville, Texas is one of the ports of entry expecting asylum seekers, and Mayor Trey Mendez joins us live now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we were hearing that asylum seekers, the folks who were waiting in Mexico under Trump's plans, would be allowed into two ports of entry, Brownsville, your city being one of them, and they were going to start being allowed into the United States yesterday, but then the Department of Homeland Security put a pause on that. So can you explain to us what's going on?
Sure. I think a lot of it is just really logistics and trying to figure out a plan and coordinating with the border cities. My understanding it's San Diego, El Paso, and Brownsville. That might change, but we're definitely going to start seeing some more individuals starting tomorrow. But yes, a lot of that is just really coordinating logistics, making sure the cities are set up for it, and coordinating shelter space if necessary, and transportation, and just making sure that we're all on the same page.
There's a human element to this as well. In addition to the logistical element, Julio Rosas from townhall.com spoke to some migrants about what they were expecting when they decided to make this journey. Take a listen.
In Tijuana on Friday, I spoke to many of the migrants who were just simply confused because they were under the impression that it was going to be a lot easier for them to come into the United States. One woman I spoke to specifically cited Biden's campaign promise to halt deportations for 100 days. The deputy sheriff said that they have already seen an increase in not just narcotics trafficking, but human trafficking. That's the unfortunate consequence of having softer rhetoric on immigration.
A lot, obviously, to unpack there. Julio took the expectation part of this from those migrants. As a mayor of a border town, I want to ask you, about the focus on narcotics and human trafficking. How do you plan to deal with something like that, which, quite frankly, yes, you've had to deal with it in the past, but they're expecting a lot of individuals coming across the border to your town?
Well, sure. We are expecting quite a few coming in. Our capacity right now, if you take Brownsville and McAllen, one of the cities that's here close to us that was dealing with this, just like us in 2018, 2019, our capacity on a daily basis, maybe a little bit over 1,000. When you're talking about expectations, we have to assume that these folks are coming over for opportunity. Unfortunately, there is an aspect to this that does involve narcotics or human trafficking, and I think that's been the case for almost as long as this has been going on. But the one thing that I'm looking forward to, or I think is going to help out the situation, is the administration is really looking to start doing a lot more of the legwork in Mexico or in Central America, where these individuals are coming from, which theoretically and hopefully would weed out a lot of this trafficking or narcotics element.
How do you feel about the Remain in Mexico policy, Mayor? Because it was credited with cutting down on the number of illegal immigrants that would cross into the United States. You would have to wait in Mexico while your asylum claim was processed, and President Biden ended that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it really is a matter of the reasoning for it, right? We saw the numbers go down quite a bit once the Remain in Mexico, otherwise known as MPP or Migrant Protection Protocol program, came in. We saw those numbers, but then we also saw a lot of issues happening across the border as well. I'm very close with the mayor of our neighbor city, Matamoros, in Mexico, and it did create a lot of issues for them. And those individuals, some of them have been waiting for a year or more, trying to get a court date. Certainly, COVID didn't help anything, but it has become a border crisis, not just for us, but for our neighboring country. But we certainly did see the numbers go down under the MPP. However, we are hoping that the individuals that start coming over now, we're seeing a more, I would say, humane, maybe a little bit more compassionate approach to it. But, there's still some factors that we want to make sure are taken care of. And that is, like you mentioned earlier, we just want to make sure that the individuals that are coming over for opportunity and not any other reason. And I think some of the administration's policies here that are going to be forthcoming are looking at eliminating a lot of those issues before these individuals come over. And, we're still dealing with a public health emergency on the border, certainly, right. and that's a concern for us.
Sir, we really do appreciate your time this morning. We know you have a lot of stuff to worry about. You just mentioned the public health emergency. Obviously, the situation at the border complicates that, but we appreciate you taking the time to share your story with us and explain what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.